Hey everyone, Rachel and Steph, Yoga Bones. We're super excited because we're going to bring you our next yoga BAM. Just to let you know everyone that we are indeed following Mr. Patabi Joyce at the Ashtanga primary series. So pose number 10 is Trikonasana. Triangle pose. So the BAM, the benefits, anatomy, alignment and modifications. My key benefit everyone is to enable you to bring your awareness into, one moment, I'll just bring my prop up, this border of your foot. When we're in Trikonasana, the back leg, I'll show you what it looks like. It's super easy for it to get super lazy and collapse the arch of the foot. So we've got to access the outer border of the foot. It's beautiful because it requires then for you to activate so much strength up through the inside of your legs, which activates your core.
Yep.
So who needs to go to Pilates when you can do yoga properly and basically get core strength from getting your feet right, which then brings it to Steph's gorgeous benefit, which is about the center, isn't it, Steph?
It's about the center. I like visuals. I really like to bring poses into kind of like a visual aid, I guess.
Wheel. Look at what we've got behind us.
I know, the wheel is like perfect. I always see like Trikonasana as there's a center to it, which is basically our core, like where our belly is, but all our limbs are expanding out. So if you think of a wheel of a bike with all like the spokes, is that the word spoke?
The spokes of a wheel, everyone.
Everything reaches
in the arms,
out,
in the legs,
and they push into the outer rim of the tire, right? So they push out, but they're also pulling in towards the center. So to me, Trikonasana is that you're reaching out, you're expanding in all directions, like you're pulling, and you're trying to touch the extremities out, but at the same time, you're pulling everything back in towards the center. So yeah, that whole like sucking action, but it's when you're in it, when you actually get into it, see if you can feel it, because you don't want to just fall into it with no energy. You want to pull out, and then draw everything back in. So
which I'm going to show you how to do.
Exactly. It's really fun. It feels really good. And we're going to talk about what did you call it? A border? I call it an edge. She likes to call it a border.
And we're definitely going to be playing around with these, everyone, but I'm going to let Steph teach me through Trikonasana right now, key alignment. I'm going to get into it. And I think we're pretty good there.
Yep.
And I'm going to get Steph to talk you through.
Because we were talking a lot about like the different ways of like once you're in it, what's to fix. And like a lot of the poses, right, there's so many alignment cues that we can give. And very important one, and like Rachel already spoke about, is the back foot. There is so much energy happening here for that outer edge of the foot to come down. And I don't know if you guys saw the other previous video about, what was it, Virabhadasana 1, about the little Lego man that lives in the arch of your foot.
Nice.
So you can't kill him. You can't let that arch drop
kill him, baby. Don't kill him, baby.
So the first thing when you go into your Trikonasana pose is the back hip. You want to let the pelvis shift back. So let's say, come back up. Let's say she doesn't do the hip, right? So bring arms. Look where she's gonna land. Look at her spine, her whole dome, her rib cage is like doming up, and she's super far away from the floor. So come back up. She's gonna shift her hips. That's it, that's the one of the video. And then she's gonna use her blocks. I'm gonna stand behind her, haha. So I'm gonna pretend like I'm a wall behind Rachel, and everything wants to lean back. So the energy of the fingertips want to reach back. This hip wants to lean into me. The rib cage and the shoulder blades want to lean back into me. The tailbone is nice and long, and that little Lego man is super happy in the arch of her feet right now. Look at her rib cage, and I'm going to ask Rachel to drop the lower ribs into my bottom hand here to soften. And Rachel, incredibly experienced yogi here, been doing it for like near 30 years.
You're gonna pick on me.
Look at, no, but she's using blocks. Why? Because Rachel is really smart. She knows her body. So it's not about touching the floor. Everybody for some reason has this thing about they think they need to touch the floor to get into it. No, you don't. You use a block or you use your arm on the inner calf. So can I show mine? I'm gonna show mine. Okay.
Go. Right, but what I'm going to say while Steph's getting into hers, so she's going to be sticking her hip out the back there, coming all the way forward. The big thing, everyone, is that what we want to see always is straight. This is what we were talking about earlier. Okay, not parallel to the ground, but just straight, rather than around, yeah.
I can't even do
like
it.
me, look, side flexion. We're not doing a side flexion of the rib cage. So this has to be super, super straight. And then we've got extension through the fingers, extension through the bottom fingers, extension through the front toes, extension through the back toes.
See, look, I look like a wheel as I come out of it, and I can even shift to the other side. And see, I'm pressing the outer hand into the inner leg so my arms stay super active. So even though I can touch the floor, I can put my whole palm down. I don't want to because I want to keep that activity. Once your fingers touch the floor, what happens, Rachel, when someone touches the floor?
Yeah, what is it about this? Something, I mean, I don't know, but I'm gonna try and half answer that question by saying, you know, in yoga, that pose where you get your feet behind the back of your neck.
Yeah, the one I got.
When you can finally do that pose, everyone, you still haven't reached nirvana.
No.
Which means we're not going anywhere, everyone. There's nothing to go towards. There's nothing like, I have to do this. What you have to do is take care of your body each time you go on the yoga mat, okay? So what we're trying to say here with this, what Steph was trying to describe, energy in your fingers, energy in the outside of your feet, lovely long spine, and then use the block.
Yes.
The most advanced yoga practitioner I know, Noelle, you know who you are, love you. If you ever watch this video one day, that'd be super awesome. She says the block is your friend. Everyone, park the ego at the door and use your yoga blocks. So important. Most of us, myself included, certainly. Steph's okay.
I use those blocks all the time.
But I don't have the range or the strength to enable me to go into the picture perfect pose. I use this, and then basically I am able to access the edges of my physical ability and improve on them. So yeah, that's me. I don't know, modifications would be blocks.
Blocks. But I'm just going to come back to my question because Rachel, I love her, but she didn't answer it. I'm talking about the hand to the floor. So we talk about extremities pulling. I find, and this is like my personal experience for what I see, is that when you're able to touch the floor, all of a sudden the legs are like, oh, you can touch, but then we'll let the arms do the work and everything collapse. You're leaning onto your hand. There's no more activity happening within, the midline and the extremities reaching. So even with my students, one of my old teachers that I love, Monica, she used to always say, and she's pretty hilarious about it, she has an accent, she'd be like, reach the fingertips to the floor, and if you can touch the floor, don't touch the floor.
Well, yeah, that's it makes it a lot harder because you have to work a lot more in your core. However, saying that, then my yoga teacher, this same Noelle, she wants to say, indeed, if you did put your hand there, use it. So know that it's fully activated, that you're not just leaning and falling into it. So lean out of it and then push into the diagonal. But what Steph's saying is then another level up of not using it because it requires so much more central strength. We do bang on, but we are keen. So please, everyone, if you've got any questions in Trikonasana, please let us know. And we are going to basically bring you our next yoga bam.
Only 90 more to go.
Yay!